The place to improve the world is first in one's own heart and head and hands, and then work outward from there. The strong man is not one who is good at wrestling, but the strong man is one who controls himself in a fit of rage. You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. A writer must teach himself that the basest of all things is to be afraid. It's hard to throw away history. It was like you were throwing away a part of yourself. Life isn't as serious as the mind makes it out to be. My destination is no longer a place, rather a new way of seeing. Everyday gratitude sweetens what appears flavorless and brightens all that appears dim. If you can't impress them with your argument, impress them with your actions. This isn't life in the fast lane, it's life in the oncoming traffic. Truth persuades by teaching, but does not teach by persuading. Feet sandaled with dreams tread paths of vision leading to wisdom's sharp peaks. If a man will begin with certainties, he shall end in doubts, but if he will be content to begin with doubts, he shall end in certainties. It is not as much about who you used to be, as it is about who you choose to be. When you want something, the entire universe conspires to help you achieve it. The truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is. Life doesn't imitate art, it imitates bad television. Be thankful for what you have, you'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough. They live like monkeys still, while their new god powers lay around them in the weeds. Building a successful life requires effort. The more effort you put into what you do, the more result you would see. If there never was a night or day and memories could fade away, then we'd be nothing left but the dreams we made. If the truth considered your feelings, then it must consider the feelings of all living creatures. Peter Ojo. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. There are some things that it is better to begin than to refuse, even though the end may be dark. Success is getting what you want, happiness is wanting what you get. The first step towards getting somewhere is to decide that you are not going to stay where you are. We can know only that we know nothing. And that is the highest degree of human wisdom. We'd met at a carefree time, a moment full of promise, in its place now were the harsh lessons of the real world. There's nothing you can't do if you want it bad enough. If you keep on making excuses to me, what you are doing is teaching me to always make excuses to you. What we like to think of ourselves and what we really are rarely have much in common. Wisdom is having things right in your life and knowing why. Knowledge, like air, is vital to life. Like air, no one should be denied it. Do not despise your own place and hour. Every place is under the stars, every place is the center of the world. When you're too tired and feel like giving up on life, sit down and ponder over the journey of water. We fool ourselves so much we could do it for a living. Friendship happens when the distance between the hearts tends to zero. An opinion should be the result of thought, not a substitute for it. I failed to communicate, that's why I chose to leave. Forgiveness doesn't have to be when they are sorry, but when you show compassion to those who don't deserve it. Life without any wonder left in it is flat and stale. Only poetry can express the weight of the world and still remain whole. Never say anything about yourself you don't want to come true. And I remembered something else that makes us human, faith, the only weapon in our arsenal to battle doubt. Life is short. Focus on what really matters most. You have to change your priorities over time. There is nothing in this world so hard to get it as truth, and there is nothing in this world but truth that I care for. Never mourn the loss of innocence, because it always brings the much greater gain of wisdom. I've gotta get out of the basement. I've gotta see the world. I've gotta make a difference. Kindness is not a business. True kindness expects nothing in return and should never act with conditions. Perhaps the truth depends on a walk around the lake. Great truths can only be forgotten and can never be falsified. That's how I know they are dreams. Because the simple and plain and everyday things are the ones that we can never have. The language of light can only be decoded by the heart. If it's going to be a world with no time for sentiment, it's not a world that I want to live in. Many little people, in little places, doing little things, can change the world. Whether you think you're right or you think you're wrong. You're right. If you think in pictures, write. If you think in words, paint. Nature is pleased with simplicity. And nature is no dummy. How hurtful it can be to deny one's true self and live a life of lies just to appease others. I am fallen, flawed, and imperfect. Yet drenched in the grace and mercy that is found in Jesus Christ, there is strength. Everything you'll ever need to know is within you. The secrets of the universe are imprinted on the cells of your body. As far as I am concerned, philosophic questioning is just as likely to make you confused and depressed as it is to improve your condition. My life will be the best illustration of all my work. The results of knowledge without application results in nothing at all. Do what you know better to do. Expectations make people miserable, so whatever yours are, lower them. You'll definitely be happier. Healthy citizens are the greatest asset any country can have. Caution not spirit, let it roam wild, for in that natural state dance embraces divine frequency. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful, strive to be happy. The pure present is an ungraspable advance of the past devouring the future. In truth, all sensation is already memory. Life isn't worth living, unless it is lived for someone else. With the truth, all given facts harmonize, but with what is false, the truth soon hits a wrong note. If your actions don't live up to your words, you have nothing to say. Go ahead and believe that no one shines brighter than you. Become amazing, and be happy. The Christian religion is a very powerful and convincing mistake. Just been poisoned by my gran. Nothing says Christmas better than familicide and anaphylactic shock. The most total opposite of pleasure is not pain but boredom, for we are willing to risk pain to make a boring life interesting. The tricky part about discovering our giftedness is that it may be in an area that feels unexpected. When we are tired, we are attacked by ideas we conquered long ago. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. As if you could kill time without injuring eternity. If you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. You start by writing to live. You end by writing so as not to die. The best reaction to a paradox is to invent a genuinely new and deep idea. We had the experience but missed the meaning. An approach to the meaning restores the experience in a different form. You see, doing one thing differently is very often the same as doing everything differently. If you are willing to go out on a limb, the tree of life holds endless possibilities. Positive expectations are the mark of the superior personality. I am not an optimist, but a great believer of hope. You'll never find a rainbow if you're looking down. Keep creating, the world yearns to celebrate your next masterpiece. My only advice is to stay aware, listen carefully, and yell for help if you need it. Poetry is just the evidence of life. If your life is burning well, poetry is just the ash. My motto is that you can't always control what happens to you in life, but you can control your reaction. We should forgive our enemies, but not before they are hanged. You will find the key to success under the alarm clock. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. People say nothing is impossible, but I do nothing every day. To know that we know what we know, and to know that we do not know what we do not know, that is true knowledge. What would come, and you would have to meet it, when it did. When the actions becomes frequent than the words, success becomes heavier than the dreams. Do more, say less. If you can't do anything about it, laugh like hell.